Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is RemovableSanity, and today I'm reviewing Ground Zero on the Series X, developed by Malformation Games and published by Quale. So what is Ground Zero? Ground Zero is a third-person survival horror set in post-apocalyptic South Korea. The premise is you play as Captain Sui Yong and her partner Lieutenant Evan Fielding. A meteor has struck South Korea, and now the duo is tasked with retrieving a black box data that will hopefully supply more information about the events and current conditions. The game boasts multiple endings, branching paths, cheats, unlockable skins, and additional game modes. First up is accessibility. With regards to accessibility, the developers have provided some limited options, such as subtitles, picture sharpen, downscale and pop-up options, plus button remapping. Sound options are basic however, so should you have hearing, motor or visual issues, this may not be the game for you. Next is gameplay. We are seeing a bit of a resurgence in genre of survival horrors, and thanks to indie developers, we are seeing some great takes on them, from the likes of Crow County, Signalis, and even Kronos the New Dawn, each providing compelling takes on what a survival horror means to them. The developers here though have seemed to take direct inspiration to the first worldwide survival horror hit, Resident Evil. Yes, others came before it, but Resident Evil was the one that broke into mainstream and caused a true stir within the gaming community. So is Ground Zero an instant classic, or something that should be left in the halls of history? Let's find out. Before you start the game, it offers both a modern control scheme and classic controls, and it's not until you have them side by side do you really appreciate how far we have come. As much as I love the original control system, my old bones needed the modern scheme. Afterwards, you can access the training mode, which helps you understand mechanics of the game, tweak some settings, remap some buttons, and test them all out in one spot. Another great option before you start is the ability to choose what modes you want for the game in terms of overall difficulty for both combat and puzzles. The game then starts with both protagonists being given a briefing in a top government facility. From the beginning you understand that there is a joint venture with the South Korean government and the Canadians. As mentioned, a meteor has hit South Korea, and it's up to these two to retrieve the black box, look for survivors and gather information. Cut to the both of them being dropped off on the beach, and it's here you get your first glimpse of something unique. Branching paths, with whatever chase you are taking locking off the other zone. This happens a couple of times through the story, which bodes well for those looking for replayability, as you'll need at least 2 playthroughs to see everything the game offers. Whatever your choice, you there play as Sui Yong and make your way to the discussed location. As you make your way through the detailed and well-designed levels, you'll soon meet your first enemy. The game's intent is to keep the clunky run some distances then fire mechanics, but it also has changed it up with some new mechanics. For example, you can parry an attack, which if timed correctly can stun or knock back an enemy. Dodging is also there, but will only give you about 3 consecutive dodges at your current stamina level. Another superb touch is also you can do a focused shot, the perfect bullet saver. By holding down the action button, a moving cursor on a bar slides backwards and forwards. Within this bar is a highlighted zone, and hitting that zone will allow you to fire a focus shot that will deal out massive damage and take most enemies out in one shot. There is a double-edged sword to this however, as failure to pull off this move can leave you vulnerable to attack, thus ramping up the pressure every time you do so. Finishes are also here when you attack an enemy which is twitching on the ground. You then go in for a cinematic kill which looks superb. These make each encounter fun, engaging, and thanks to the auto-aim, which targets the nearest enemy, helpful for those out-of-screen attacks. Once you are aiming however, you can switch targets, but this never felt responsive enough for me, so I barely used it. All of this ties in the ability to scan defeated enemies in return for codex credits. The better the condition of the corpses, the more credits are awarded. killing them with the knife guarantees a perfect, which gives the most credits, whilst the shotgun always gets poor, which provides the least amount. You can then use these codex credits to purchase ammo, health and gadgets for use within the world. Like all good survival horrors, the biggest component of the game is managing your inventory. Thankfully, many weapons share ammo types, so you can switch out the weapons with little issues, but will still need careful juggling. Still, expansions can be found that enable for more weapons and allow for several keys. You just better explore well to find them. One key thing to understand is that also weapon swapping doesn't exist, so should you run out of ammo for one weapon, you better quickly jump into your inventory to switch. The developers really have gone to town with what made survival horrors so beloved, ensuring that you really feel as if you're back in the 90s enjoying this genre for the very first time. They even have added an alternative mode called Apocalypse Crisis, which plays out like time-based escape challenges from Resident Evil 2. These have 8 stages with 6 different characters to choose from and enjoy. Next up is graphics. The game's retro aesthetics was equally a draw for me, but unlike a lot of the older games which enjoyed a darker palette, here bright colours are implemented superbly. From the outset, the fishing town looks stunning in its moody setting alongside shots of brightly coloured infected organic material slowly enveloping all it touches. Because of this, each protagonist is forced into zones not often directly linked, like sewers, subway systems, arcades, hospitals, back streets, police stations and museums that all ooze a clear desire to intrigue the player forward. Level design is equally superb with the usual backtracking and opening up alternative paths to progress. These areas are large in scope and intricacy, which does make for one glaring issue. When a zone is on multiple levels, the map provided doesn't allow you to switch, forcing you only to see the level that you are currently on. Because of this, the game can make things a lot harder when trying to remember which room you need to put that damn gas pipe valve into. Regardless of this niggle, the game's gorgeous static pre-rendered backdrops blended in with fully 3D assets make full use of the infamous fixed cameras to create heightened tension from the unknown off-screen. It recreates the hell of fighting when having fixed perspectives that allows its new mechanics to shine, and I couldn't be happier. The UI is equally retro in its undertaking and produces a similar feeling as you combine 3 serums of the same colour for a permanent health, stamina or immunity upgrade. Another nice touch is that the map does label which doors you have been through and any missed items that you have not picked up. Enemy design is also well done and diverse in its combinations of human and animal fusions with dead organic material. Just like with its choice of colour, lighting has been crafted to ensure that your attention is always drawn to the area the developer wants. The protagonist's torch is also superb in casting shadows and giving enough light to hint at the horrors waiting for you in the dark. Another nice touch in the options is you can choose how to retro style the game with a sharpen and downscale picture options, with the downscale amount even having a slider. Overall frame rate and stability were superb in all of my gameplay, but I did see some slight tearing when the torch washed over some of the 3D assets. Finally, its sound. The game has full voice acting that chooses traditional cheesy and campy voice performances that hint more towards Deep Fear and Dino Crisis than Resident Evil. A good unique touch is that So-young actress is bilingual and she switches between English and Korean on the fly depending who she's talking to. This is a great touch that I don't think I've ever seen in survival horrors.
Path to the lighthouse.
Well, can you go around?
Not safely. I'm going back to Kamchon to find supplies to destroy it.
Well, according to the intel, looks like...
The game's environmental sounds are also fantastic in getting that unnerving mood perfect. Low-level noise or over orchestral straws are introduced, but it's the distant animalistic sounds from enemies that will really shred your nerves. combat sounds are also equally well done to ensure the weight of your weapons hitting is deep depending on the weapon of choice. The shotgun excels here as you can really feel the impact of it hitting an enemy and reducing your credits to a minimal stake. My recommendation here would be a good quality headset to listen out for those pesky enemies, often hidden off screen before they attack. And this leads me on to the rating of the game. Now I rate games in order of avoid, on sale, great purchase and must own. My rating for Ground Zero is a must own. The developers didn't do just a love letter to the genre or try to replicate the essence. They chose to try and improve upon it. Few developers can say they have the capability to pull this off, but here they have done just that. The game is currently priced on Xbox at £16.74, or approximately $20, and depending on your skill and patience would give you about 15 hours to complete. But with multiple endings, branching paths, cheats, unlockable skins and additional game modes, you can double it easily for that replayability. The developers really went to town to ensure all fans, from old to new alike, get the very best experience from a retro survival horror. This isn't a tribute, it's a new classic that can stand beside the true giants of the genre. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I do hope you like this review, and if you do, please like, share and subscribe if you so wish. And if you would like to put some notes or even just a comment in the comment section, I do like reading them. Anyway, have a great time gaming, and I'll see you all again soon.